Hey guys, it's Mrs. Hannon. We're about to go over State Test Review 3 from your packet, linear equations and expressions. So let's start by filling out the top. It says a linear equation or expression will have variables that have exponents of, and if you recall, if it's linear, it has to be 0 or 1 only. A graph of a linear equation will look like a straight line. The term equation means the mathematical statement must have an equals. The term expression means the mathematical statement cannot have an equals. So if you see that on a Regents or a state test, if it says those two words, equation or expression, it's actually telling you whether or not it has to have an equals, and you will get points off if you do that incorrectly. All right, so to evaluate a linear expression or equation for a certain value of x, simply plug in the value. Remember to use parentheses. All right, so let's look at number 1. Can I scroll this down? Oh, this is good. I'm doing great at this. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, let's look at the first examples. On these ones, we are writing out the expression, and then we're just saying if it is linear or non-linear. Okay, let's look at 1a. The sum of a number and 4 times the number. Okay, remember, a number means x. So this one, sum, means we're going to be adding the number x to 4 times the number, 4x. Okay, that one is linear because each of the x's have an exponent of 1. Okay, B, 8 less than twice a number. Remember when it says less than, we actually have to do the 8 at the end. And twice a number would be 2x. That is linear, again, because the x has a 1. C, the quotient of 7 and a number. Okay, so quotient means division. So 7 and a number, that would be 7 divided by x. When you have a division, you could write that as a fraction, right? So this could actually be written like this. And because the x is on the bottom, this is going to be non-linear. All right, letter D. The square of the sum of a number and 12. Okay, so we have to start by doing the sum of a number and 12. To square it, we're going to use parentheses, and we're going to square that. This one is nonlinear because the x is being squared, has the squared on the outside, so the exponent on the x is going to be a 2. All right, E, the sum of 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, so on this one, we want the sum of 3 things. 3 consecutive numbers. Consecutive means in a row. So our first one's going to be x, and then our next one would be x plus 1, and then x plus 2. Consecutive numbers go up by 1. Okay, and this is going to be linear because all of the x's have an exponent of 1. Okay, F, the cube of a number decreased by 10. Okay, so to do the cube of a number, we're going to do x to the 3rd decreased by 10. That obviously is going to be nonlinear because of the cubed, the 3. Okay, letter G. 3 less than the product of a number and -5. Okay, this has that word less than again. So remember, the -3 actually comes at the end. And then here we want the product of a number and -5. Product means times. So we want x multiplying by -5. Okay, so the way we would write that is a -5x. If you wrote it like this, that's fine. This is just the way that we normally would write it to make it a little bit easier to read and a little bit simpler. Okay, so this one is linear because the x has an exponent of 1. All right, when you are ready, we are flipping to the next page. Okay, let's look at number 2. Okay, so number 2 says, evaluate the following expressions when x is equal to -2. So we're going to plug in a -2 for each one. Remember that you want to use parentheses. So the first one, we would get -12 minus 2, so that's -14. Okay, let's try b next. Plugging in the -2. Okay, so on this one, -2 plus 1 is -1. I want to make sure I follow order of operations, and I do this first. Okay, so that gives me -5 plus 4. And so my final answer would be -1. Okay, letter C. Plugging in the -2. I can't really do dots on this, as you can probably notice. There we go. Okay, so -2 over 4, that's -1/2. Oops. Minus 1.5. Since they're both negative, they're really adding. So this actually gives me -2. Okay, and then the last one, 9 minus -2. That becomes plus. So it goes to 11. Okay, let's go down to number 3, if I can do it. I don't know why. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. There we go. All right, number 3. Bruce bought 2 books. One book cost $4 more than 3 times the other. Together, the 2 books cost him $72. How much did each book cost? Set up an equation and solve. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys, what did you write for your equation? So go ahead and enter that in now. Okay, so what you should have done is, since you have 2 books equaling $72, your first book is going to be X. Your second book is going to be 4 more than 3 times the other. Now, the other book is the X, right? So that goes there as well. Okay, now we are going to solve. So again, you're going to go ahead and enter in, what did you get for X? Go ahead and enter your answer for X. Okay, so we're going to solve this. So we're going to add together the 2 x's, so 4x plus 4. We're going to minus 4, which gives us 68. Divide by 4, which gives us 17. Okay, so that's X. So the first book was $17. The second book, I need to figure out by using this, okay? So I'm going to plug in my $17 in for X, because that's what I got for X. Okay? So 3 times 17 is 51. So my second book would be $55. Oops. Okay, so those are my 2 books. All right, let's go to number 4. The sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 231. Set up an equation and solve to find all 3 numbers. Okay, so again, remember you want to start with your 3 things that you're adding up to equal to 31. All right, in the first parenthesis, we're going to put x. Okay, at this point, I'm going to ask you what you think should go in the second parenthesis, knowing that these are consecutive odds. Okay, so I want you to think, how far apart are odd numbers? Okay, go ahead and put what you would put in the second parenthesis. All right, so hopefully you said x plus 2, because odds are actually 2 apart. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, they're all 2 apart. And then the next one would be x plus 4. Yeah, evens and odds actually are the same setup for an equation like this. All right, we're going to solve. Okay, so we're going to combine like terms. So we have 3 x's, and then 2 plus 4 is 6. We're going to minus the 6. So 3x equals 225. Divide by 3. And that is 75. So my 3 odd numbers would be 75, 77, and 79. All right, last one, number 5. Stephen has some money. Okay, so we don't know that. That's probably going to be our x. If he spends $9, he will have 3/5 of the amount he started with. Set up an equation and solve to find his original amount of money. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. Okay, he's starting with x. He is spending $9, so I want to minus 9. Now he will have, so that's equal to 3/5 of what he started with, which was x. So 3/5 x. All right, go ahead and solve this and go ahead and type in what you got for your x, and then we will go over it. All right, so we're going to go over this. We're going to, I'm going to add the 9. Add the 9. There's other ways to do this, so if you did it differently, that's okay. All right, and then I'm going to minus the 3/5 x. I like to keep everything positive. That's why I added the 9 over, because the 3/5 was smaller. Okay, so this gives me 2/5 x equals 9. Divide by 2/5. Which is 2250.